Okay, let's have a really honest moment here, you and me. I think I know why you're listening to this, because I have been right where you are. And I remember that feeling so clearly. There's this desire inside of you, isn't there? A deep, nagging desire for something more. More money, sure, but it's really more than just the money, right? It's the freedom that money buys you, the freedom to just choose, to create, to live your life without that constant low hum of anxiety in the background. It's that desire to finally prove to yourself, and maybe to a few other people, what you are actually capable of.
And look, you're not just sitting on the couch waiting for it all to fall into your lap. You are doing the work. You've read the books. You do the visualizations. You write down your goals. You make the vision boards. Maybe you even stand in front of the mirror and say those affirmations that, let's be real, feel a little awkward, a little strange coming out of your mouth. But you do it anyway, because you are committed. And yet, after all of that, you look around and nothing's really changed, has it? The numbers in your bank account, they're stubbornly familiar. Those big opportunities you're chasing, they feel just as far away as they did last year. And in those quiet moments, maybe late at night, this little voice starts to whisper, what if this is all just a big lie? What if you're just not one of the lucky ones?
And then comes the part that really hurts. The part that can feel like a knife just twisting. You see other people, and you know in your gut, they are not smarter than you. They haven't put in half the work, half the sweat that you have. And they're winning. They're getting the promotions, they're closing the big deals, they're living the life that you were dreaming about. And you're stuck on the sidelines just watching them. And you keep asking yourself that same painful question over and over. What do they have that I don't?
Well, what if I told you that the answer to that question is not luck? It's not some secret family connection. It's a simple, profound, and incredibly powerful principle that most people, they just walk right past it their entire lives. It is the one ingredient that Napoleon Hill, after spending 20 years of his life studying the wealthiest, most successful people on the planet at the request of Andrew Carnegie himself, it's what he identified as the single most important key to all of their success. And he didn't present it as some kind of magic. He presented it as a psychological framework, something that could be learned and repeated.
He called this ingredient faith. Now, wait, before your mind just shuts off, before you dismiss this as some kind of religious talk, I need you to just pause with me for a moment, because that immediate reaction, that's actually part of the problem. Most of us have been handed a very, very narrow definition of this word. But the faith we are talking about today, it has nothing to do with religion. It has everything to do with psychology. It's a state of mind. It's a mental tool that every single one of us can learn how to use. To really get this, let's just try a little experiment right now. Think about a goal that you have, something you really want. Okay, got it? Now, I want you to say these words, maybe even out loud. I hope this works out. Just say it. I hope, and then just notice. Pay attention to how that feels in your body. What is that sensation? For most of us, it feels light, almost kind of hollow. It's the feeling of being a passenger, right? Like you're crossing your fingers and just waiting for some outside force to decide your fate. It's a feeling of powerlessness.
That feeling, that is hope. And as we're about to see, hope, while it's a beautiful human emotion, when it comes to achieving your biggest goals, hope is a beggar's game. It puts you in the position of someone who's asking for a handout from the universe, waiting for permission to finally succeed. At its core, it is a passive state.
Think about it like this. Hope is passive. It's like you're standing outside the giant gates of a beautiful castle. You're peering through the iron bars, just wishing the king would notice you and maybe, just maybe, invite you inside for the feast. But this psychological state of faith that Napoleon Hill talks about, it is completely different. It is profoundly active. It's not wishing you could get inside the castle. It's the deep internal knowing that you are the one who is going to build the castle. It's picking up the tools, laying that first stone, and working with this unshakable certainty that the kingdom is already yours. See the difference? So you see, true faith, in this context, it isn't some light, airy wish. It is a state of mind. It is a conviction so deep, so absolute, so emotionally charged that your subconscious mind, the powerful part of you that's running the whole show behind the scenes, it literally cannot tell the difference between what is already real and what you are vividly imagining to be real.
Let me give you an example you'll instantly recognize. Have you ever woken up from a really bad nightmare and your heart is just pounding out of your chest? You're gasping for air, maybe you're covered in sweat.
In that moment, your body is in full-blown fight or flight. But there was no actual danger in the room, was there? No. Your subconscious mind couldn't distinguish between the reality of your safe bedroom and the vivid imagination of the dream. It accepted the thought of danger as if it were real, and your entire body responded.
Well, Napoleon Hill discovered that this exact same psychological mechanism is the key to achievement. You've probably heard his famous quote, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." For years, we've all focused on that first part, conceive. We think, oh, sure, I can imagine having $1 million. But that's just a daydream, that's just wishing. The entire secret, the key that unlocks the whole kingdom, is in that second word, believe. Belief isn't a thought. Belief is a feeling. It's the emotional state of something being true, right here, right now.
And let me be perfectly clear about something. This is not magic. This is not some woo-woo mystical idea. This is mental programming. This is about you finally getting the user manual for your own mind and learning how to consciously and deliberately give it new instructions instead of just letting it run on old, outdated software from your past.
And, this is where the conversation gets a little uncomfortable. Because the truth is, every single one of us, we're already masters of mental programming. We do it every single day without fail. The problem is, most of us are unknowingly programming ourselves for more scarcity, more struggle, and more failure.
Just think about a typical day. You wake up, and what's the first thought? Maybe it's about the bills you have to pay. And you feel that familiar knot of anxiety tightening in your stomach. Well, that feeling, that's an emotional instruction. You go through your day worrying about not having enough, focusing on what's missing. You do this day after day, after day. And that repetition, mixed with the powerful emotion of fear or worry, that is a direct command to your subconscious mind. You are essentially telling your brain, find me more proof of lack, find me more reasons to struggle. And your brain, because it's a loyal and incredibly powerful servant, it just says, yes, of course, and it gets right to work, finding you exactly what you've ordered.
To put it as bluntly as I possibly can, you are using this incredible mental power in reverse. Through your habitual thoughts and your dominant feelings, you are, in effect, praying for poverty, and you don't even realize you're praying at all.
So how do we fix this? How do we turn this giant ship around? Well, Napoleon Hill gives us a very specific formula. He called it auto-suggestion, which is really just a fancy term for talking to yourself on purpose. It means taking conscious, deliberate control of that inner conversation that's been running on autopilot for your entire life.
The formula itself is simple, but it requires unwavering discipline. First, you have to state your goal with absolute clarity. Not, I want more money, but something like, I am so happy and grateful now that I am earning $20,000 a month. Second, you repeat this statement aloud, twice a day. Once, just before you fall asleep at night, and once, the very moment you wake up. Third, and listen, this is the most important part, you must generate the feeling of already having it. This isn't just about saying words. Which brings us to the fourth step. You have to do this with intense, concentrated emotion.
You have to close your eyes and really be there. Feel the incredible relief of being debt-free. Imagine the look on your loved one's face when you share the amazing news. Feel that deep sense of pride and gratitude swelling up in your chest. Now, I'm going to warn you, in the beginning, this is going to feel completely fake. Your logical conscious mind will be screaming, you're lying, this isn't real. And that's okay, that's perfectly normal. Do it anyway. Because your conscious mind might be the gatekeeper, but your subconscious mind, that's the one that just records the data. It doesn't argue, it doesn't judge, it just accepts the emotionally charged information you give it as a new command.
Now, there is a reason this practice is so challenging for most people. Because the second you stop doing it, your environment rushes in to reprogram you back to the old ways. You have to protect your mind like it's a fortress. The news, it's designed to program you with fear and anxiety. Social media is an engine designed to program you with envy and comparison. Even your well-meaning friends can program you for mediocrity, telling you to just be realistic. You have to stand guard at the gate of your own mind and consciously, deliberately choose what you allow to enter.
So, with all of that said, here is your challenge. I want you to think of that one major goal, the one that excites you and terrifies you at the same time, the one you are almost afraid to say out loud because you're scared of what people might think if you fail.
For the next 30 days, I want you to completely stop hoping for it. I want you to stop wishing for it. Instead, I want you to decide. I want you to make a definitive, final decision that this goal is already a finished fact in your reality.
Write down your statement, and every single morning and every single night without fail, you are going to perform this exercise. You are going to feel the gratitude of it already being done.
And then, I just want you to watch what happens. Just observe. Watch how your own actions start to shift. Watch how you suddenly find the courage to make that phone call you've been putting off. Watch how new ideas and opportunities just seem to appear out of nowhere. What happens when your internal state of being shifts from one of lack and hope to one of absolute certainty and knowing?
Because the great secret has never, ever been about changing the world first. It has always been about changing yourself first. And when you change your internal reality, when you fundamentally shift your core belief about what is possible for you, the external world, by a law as certain as gravity, has no choice but to rearrange itself around your new conviction. Stop hoping. Start knowing.